We are back. Week 3 in the books. Take 2 for this recording of this podcast, but that'll just stay between us, me and Braden. But yeah, another successful week in the NFL. A lot of defensive scores, a lot of special team scores. A couple upsets this weekend. But yeah, a lot of really good football was played. A lot to dive into and a lot to talk about recapping week 3 and kind of looking forward to week 4 already in the NFL season. But as always, joined by Braden Bankin. Brock Bierman unable to make it tonight for this episode, but he will be back for next week's episode. But Braden, how you doing?
Doing all right. Niners are 3-0, so that's always a good feeling. Didn't look pretty the last couple weeks, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, even if you have to win ugly. So can't complain too much. Iowa State couldn't hurt me because they were on a bye. Power rankings look a little rough right now, though, but we will, of course, get into that later on.
You know, my Iowa Hawkeyes finally showed signs of offense for the first time in 10 years, which was kind of cool, too, on Friday.
People were, hyping up Rutgers heavy just to lose to Mark Gronowski. Ugh, we'll see.
Yeah, Iowa has a really tough game this Saturday, hosting Indiana, who, for those of you not aware, Indiana just beat a top 10 Illinois team 63-10. So
I think if Iowa gives up more than 50 points, I don't think it matters who against. Phil Parker might have to. Yeah. I don't think he will. Obviously not against his will. I think voluntarily he will go into a vow of silence.
Yeah, I
just don't see that happening.
I feel like they've only given up 50 or more once or twice in the last 10 years. I feel like one of them was to Ohio State, and they've gotten 40 put up on them a couple times. But we don't need to talk about that because Iowa's going to pull that one out on Saturday. The huge underdog that they are. But yeah, another great week of the NFL. We're going to dive into the first game that happened, the Thursday Night Football of Bills-Dolphins. Bills take this one 31-21 in Buffalo. Josh Allen looked as good as ever. Was able to pass the ball with efficiency. 213 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no turnovers. They were able to run the ball efficiently too with 157 yards on the ground. But I think the main storyline that me and Braden want to talk about is the Dolphins, just what's going on with them and that whole situation. It looks like Tyreek Hill is just not happy in Miami right now. It looks like Tua's lost whatever talent that he had from a few years ago. It just looks so painful to watch their offense anymore. But what are your takeaways from Miami after this game?
Yeah, it's week 3. It's early. Anything can happen the rest of the season, but PFF mock draft simulator's got to be looking pretty enticing right now. As far as prospects go, it's not looking fantastic as far as the QB options if you want to look towards getting off of Tua, but you just paid him. So you kind of can't do that. Mike McDaniel is I think it's almost safe to say at this point that he's lost the team. There's nothing going on good right now in Miami. Yeah, just bad vibes all around. I would be shocked if Tyreek is in a Miami Dolphins uniform by week 8.
Really?
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough if you're a Miami fan.
Yeah, the offense just looks so clunky right now. It's weird because a couple years ago they were taking shots down the field. Tyreek Hill's running wide open. Then you have Jalen Waddle running wide open. And now it just looks so painful. I don't know how many times they had to throw it to Devon Achane in the flat and have him do something and get 5 or 6 yards on it. But something just looks off with Miami, and I don't know if that's something that they're going to be able to fix, but I kind of agree with you. I would be surprised if McDaniel is still the head coach by probably week 10. I just, you mentioned it feels like he's lost the team, and it feels like this team is going to be vying for a top 5 pick. And you mentioned it, there's not really many quarterbacks that I think before the season we thought there would be many highly touted quarterbacks coming out, but after these first few weeks of college football, it's looked rough because Arch Manning hasn't looked as good as he was hyped up to be. I don't know if you've seen how Drew Alwers played at Penn State, but
It's how it always is with these QB classes, right? Like especially
Mhm.
the last couple of years where you expect them to take these leaps forward and then they just don't.
Mm-hmm.
They look like the same player that didn't declare last year for a good
Yeah.
reason. And all of a sudden it's like who is the number one pick right now? Usually you have like a decent idea of who's going to be the number one pick. Who? Like Fernando
It's super.
Mendoza?
Honestly, with the way the Indiana's been playing, probably Mendoza.
It's possible. You like Mendoza, maybe I think Ruben Bain is his name out of Miami
Mm-hmm.
is
The
up there.
defensive lineman. Yeah.
Dante
Carson
Moore,
Beck
if he
has even looked
declares.
really good, and we thought his
Carson
draft stock
Beck
was terrible after last year.
Carson Beck beating the Georgia quarterback allegations has been quite a sight to see, I gotta say.
Yeah, but we both believe that Miami is just, at this point, they're playing for a draft pick. Neither one of us had them making the playoffs. But yeah.
Miami NFL is not good. Miami college, hey.
Yeah, if you're a Dolphins fan, I'm sorry. If you're a Hurricanes fan, I think, what are they, third in the country now? Fourth in the country?
I think, yeah, like top 5 easily.
Top 3, and their offense is just humming along. It looks fantastic if you're a Hurricanes fan, but not if you're a Dolphins fan. So, but other games, we're going to move into Sunday's games. We're going to start with the big upset, the big elephant in the room. We mentioned, or I said on last week's episode, that a certain team would be banned from talking points unless they win a game from the podcast. And that team was the Cleveland Browns. And what do? They win the game against the Green Bay Packers 13-10 in an absolute slugfest of a game. I don't know if you watched this game, Braden, but this game, it was nasty. Nasty football is being played.
Yeah, I didn't see much of this game. Most of the noon slate, I'm going to be honest, I wasn't able to catch most of it. But the last week I've been having a lot of computer problems. Like Dawson said earlier, this is take 2. So obviously haven't gotten all of them fixed, but I've been having a lot of problems with my computer. Really Sunday was the only time I was able to work on that. Mm-hmm. So wasn't able to watch as much football as I want to. Obviously love the game, but sometimes things just happen.
Yeah.
But the two things I kept seeing, obviously Cleveland's defensive line looks great. Myles Garrett,
good Lord,
a freak. That one clip of Myles Garrett getting free, and was it Zach Tom or Jordan Morgan? One of the
tackles.
One of the tackles said, "Jordan, run, dude." Listen. I've been there. That is not a good feeling. That is not a great feeling as a lineman to get beat so bad. You have to plead with your quarterback to just leave, get out of there. And Myles Garrett is one of those guys that you can. The Packers had to form like a 3-man conga line to attempt to stop Myles Garrett, and it still barely worked.
It didn't work. They lost the game. Gave up 5 sacks. I think Garrett had half a sack, but he had that one pressure that you're talking about where Jordan Love was running for his life. I think that stat I saw was everyone on the Green Bay O-line had a PFF grade of under 40, which some people don't like PFF. Some people like it. It's just, it's not nothing. It's something. Sometimes.
If PFF can do one thing right, it is offensive line.
Yeah.
To have under 40 on the whole line.
Yeah. I think the highest.
Especially for a team that went out and tried to improve their offensive line as much as the Packers did.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, Cleveland's front 7 is underrated for how bad the rest of the team is, but that's still not good.
No. But yeah. Cleveland ends up winning this one on a walk-off field goal from what? I don't want to mess this kicker's name up. Andre Schmitz? Is that how you say his last name?
That's probably one of those, it looks like an encrypted link of a last name.
But yeah, I didn't even know this was the Browns kicker at this point in the season. That tells you how little I've watched the Browns and taken notes of the Browns. But yeah, he steps in.
I only knew he was the kicker because I watched the Bengals-Browns game week 1, and he missed 3 field goals.
Well, I think the last one he hit was 55 yards. Yeah, 55-yard field goal for the win against Green Bay. So, and before that, Cleveland ended up blocking a field goal to get the ball back at like really good field position, and then they obviously drove down the field and were able to put one through the uprights. But yeah, a team that I thought was the best team in the league in the Green Bay Packers goes down to, I think, a team I consider probably one of the worst in the league in the Cleveland Browns. It shows you how competitive these teams are at this point in the year. I know we were poking fun of the Dolphins, how they should be looking for a draft pick, but there's going to be a lot of players on the Dolphins that are still vying for contracts, vying for their stats, and overall pride at this point in the year. But yeah, it as someone who has a lot of Packers stock, that one hurt. That one hurt a lot.
Yeah, this was this is what they call the dip.
Yeah.
In stocks, you never want to hold the stock before the dip.
Yeah. But hey,
if there's ever a time to buy,
so
if there's ever a time to buy, it's now.
I might have to double down on my Packers take. But yeah, we'll keep it going with the Sunday slate games. We're going to keep this one really quick. Colts improved to 3-0 against the Titans. Their offense has punted twice all year.
Their first punt was this week.
Jesus.
With the random Iowa offense stray from the announcers. I thought I heard that live, and then I was like scrolling on my feed and I saw like 3 different aggregate accounts say Iowa offense catches a stray because the Colts finally punted. Like, all right, yeah, that's kind of funny.
It's kind of like the clip of Caleb Williams after Torrey Taylor gets drafted. It's like, hey, we're not going to be punting very much, and it's just like Torrey Taylor's led the NFL in punts the last year and a half that he's been in the league.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure last year wasn't Torrey Taylor had more punt yards than Caleb Williams did passing yards by like a lot.
Torrey Taylor had more punt yards than Iowa's entire offense did, I think, his last year at college.
Well, that's believable.
Yeah, that tells you anything.
That's just what he does, though.
Yeah, Colts. Daniel Jones is playing unbelievable football right now, something I thought me and you didn't think would ever happen again. We thought career was going to be wrote off. I was pushing for Richardson to start, and obviously Daniel Jones wins the job, and for good reason. They're 3-0, and they've only punted once on offense. They look good, dude. Pittman looked really good. Jonathan Taylor scored 3 touchdowns. He was almost my player of the week for this week. The one guy that haven't really been able to get going, which is scary, is Tyler Warren. And when they get him implemented in this offense, good Lord. Now you have Pittman, you have Alex Pierce, Jonathan Taylor, Tyler Warren, Daniel. Like, that's a really good skill core if you're the Indianapolis Colts. Plus, you have that dominant offensive line. But, yeah, Colts look good. Do you have any thoughts on the Colts?
Not necessarily a thought on the Colts, but I can't think of where MetLife Stadium is, like as far as like the actual town, but
it's in New Jersey somewhere.
It's in New Jersey. I can't think of the actual like town name it's in, but
East Rutherford.
East Rutherford, yeah. Is East Rutherford, New Jersey just football hell? Like anybody that has ever made it out of that city alive has gone on to just prosper, whether it be the Jets or Jets or Giants, either way. The minute anybody leaves that team, they become football Jesus. Saquon Barkley.
Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
Although it took Sam a couple years to
It did take Sam a while, but that's just
Sam
how bad
good.
They burnt his stock.
Yeah.
Like, Daniel Jones is lucky he went to Anthony Richardson just I guess just can't be a practice quarterback or whatever. Lost the battle to Daniel Jones with no image at all. Everybody that said anything about sports ever just assumed that Daniel Jones was just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow manages to get a shot in Indy and has just been cooking. Shout out Daniel Jones, man.
It reminds me a lot of Sam Darnold last year with the Vikings. I still have my doubts and my reservations about this Colts team, but thus far, I mean, being 3-0 and only punting the ball once, think it's the first time they've been 3-0 since '09, which is I think the year they went to the Super Bowl against the Saints, or either the year before or year after. One of those years that they had Peyton, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, all those guys, and they were a really dominant offense. But yeah, Colts look really good right now. We'll skim past this one really quick. Absolute thumping of the Vikings beating the Bengals 48-10. Just a defensive masterclass by Brian Flores. Any real thoughts on this one?
Any stock I may have held in Jake Browning, I think just hit the fractions of pennies.
Yeah.
If we're on the topic of player stocks, it's done.
But at that point, if his stock is that low, you might as well not sell it. You might as well hold on just to do a little.
No,
bit.
I'm gonna hold it, but I would not be surprised if I would not be surprised if another quarterback ends up taking snaps in the next couple weeks.
With the recent news of Jackson Dart being named the starter for this week, is there a Russell Wilson trade to Cincinnati?
I mean, maybe Russ has looked. I mean, decent, but also like he's throwing some moonballs to the defense.
Yeah,
he's either throwing for 400 yards or he's throwing it directly to a corner.
Yeah, but yeah. One thing to note: this game was supposed to have J.J. McCarthy and Joe Burrow, but obviously with quarterback injuries, we got Carson Wentz versus Jake Browning, and Wentz didn't look bad.
Wentz did enough. He did enough to win. Obviously, the story of this game is the defense.
Yeah.
Which they cooked.
Yeah. Yep, we're going to skip over Steelers-Patriots. We're going to go into Eagles-Rams, probably the most exciting game in the noon slot. Eagles at one point down, was it 26-9 or 7? Does that sound right?
That sounds right, yeah.
17 points?
Like a lot of points needed.
And I thought the Eagles were cooked. When I saw that score, I thought the Rams were for sure going to win. The Rams looked dominant. And Jalen Hurts, I think, had 220 passing yards in the second half, 3 passing touchdowns. And they were able to get A.J. Brown the ball, Devontae Smith. They looked really, really good in that second half throwing the ball, which is something I didn't see happening against the Rams. But what are your thoughts on Eagles coming back to win this one 33-26 against the Rams?
Yeah. So as somebody that has AJ Brown in one of my fantasy leagues, you want to guess the 1 week I finally put AJ Brown on the bench? I'll give you the answer. It's this week. This week I finally was like, all right, you put up 1.6 and 7.7. I'm done. You're hitting the pine for Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin puts up like 8 points. AJ Brown with 22.9 on my bench.
Yeah.
I still won, but not happy about that. Not happy about the Eagles having success either. I haven't exactly been shy about my disdain for this team. Really, for both of these teams, I would have been happy either way with an Eagles downfall or Rams losing this game in, frankly, hilarious fashion.
Yeah.
One team that we thought just couldn't throw the ball, dicing your elite pass defense, is, frankly, just comedy. Yeah.
And like you mentioned, this game ended in the most hilarious way I think I've ever seen for a football game. Rams they're lining up to kick the field goal to potentially win the game from, what's it, 58 yards?
Field goal range. I don't know.
Only 44 yards. So a lot closer than I remember it being. Eagles get a good jump on it. They end up blocking it. And of all people to recover the ball and score a touchdown, Jordan Davis, who is probably the biggest human being that plays in the NFL right now outside of Desmond Watson, takes it 61 yards, and the Eagles end up winning by 7. And that might not matter for a lot of people, but there were a lot of people who placed bets of Rams plus 3.5, even if they missed that field goal. And that blocked field goal, absolutely ruined that spread. Absolute horrible bad beat.
That might be one of the worst bad beats of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, that was all over my feed after the game. Is just how many people either won bets because of it or lost bets in the most hilarious way fashion. Because you wouldn't have thought Jordan Davis was going to be the one to take it 60 yards and crib it. And that like
Well, I mean, the Rams probably just like the kick is blocked. They're not going to be able to go recover the ball anyways. What's the point in tackling him? You're just going to risk injury. I get it, but also, yeah, if you lost like a 5-leg parlay and one of your legs was Rams plus 3.5, thoughts and prayers to your bank account.
Yeah,
that's a rough one.
Yeah,
Gamble responsibly, of course.
Yes, please do. But yeah, just a hilarious way that the game ended. But that was not the first blocked field goal return for a touchdown today. In the next game we're going to talk about, Buccaneers Jets. Buccaneers hold on to win this one 29-27. Tyrod Taylor ended up making the start for this Jets team and looked good. He was the Jets' leading rusher, 2 passing touchdowns, 200 passing yards. Didn't look terrible, but in the end, the Buccaneers were able to pull this one off on a last-second field goal. Big storyline is Will McDonald for the Jets, able to block that field goal and run it all the way back. For all of our Iowa State listeners out there, he made a big impact in the game and gave the Jets the lead with, was it a minute 50 or under 2 minutes to go, I think? Minute 51. But, yeah, obviously Tampa Bay after that went down the field, scored a field goal to win by 2 points. So the Bucs moved to 3-0. Kind of one of the more shocking 3-0 teams, considering some of the games they played. They played the Texans last week, and then they played what we thought was a decent Falcons team, but we'll get into the Falcons in a second. They look stinky. But what are your thoughts on this game as a whole?
Yeah, Mike Evans also went down in this game. Apparently, he's going to be out for multiple weeks. I think Chris Godwin is starting. I think he's aiming a return this week.
Yeah,
but they're going to ease him in, so it's pretty much just going to be the Emeka Egbuka show.
I was going to say, if you're a Bucs fan, I mean, what a perfect timing to take a rookie receiver round 1 and looks this good.
Yeah, for as many questions as that pick got, because you kind of go into that like, yeah, I know Chris Godwin's out, but is wide receiver really your best need right now to be taken in the first round? Turns out, absolutely, because Emeka Egbuka might be like one of the front runners for Offensive Rookie of the Year right now.
It reminded me a lot of, do you remember when the Cowboys took CeeDee Lamb? And it didn't make a whole lot of sense at the time because the Cowboys had Amari Cooper, they had Michael Gallup, and we thought as like the general NFL public that why are the Cowboys taking a receiver round 1? They have 2 elite receivers. It's not really the same thing, but kind of the same thing in my eyes. And CeeDee balled out that year, and now CeeDee's a top 5 receiver in the NFL. And Egbuka, to start his career, I know it looks really promising, but he looks, like you said, he's going to win the Offensive Rookie of the Year.
But yeah, we'll see how that receiver room ends up looking. But is Baker Mayfield just like the clutchest man alive? The last 3 weeks has been like they're on the ropes. Need a touchdown, need to go down the field and get a field goal to win this game. Mm-hmm. And time and time again, he does it. It is insane how he keeps getting away with it.
Yeah.
Like it. I know we kind of had the conversation of like, is Baker like a top 10, close to top 5 quarterback? I think he's definitely cementing his case at this point for sure. This is another quarterback with just an incredible run this year.
Yeah. I think we'll do this later in the season when we get kind of a better picture. But if we were to do like an MVP ladder, Baker's got to be.
He's at least top 5.
Yeah, top 5, top 3. The way he's been able to carry this Bucs team throughout the injuries. But yeah, Bucs look really good. Jets unfortunately moved to 0-3 on the season.
Free Brees Hall.
Yeah. That's another team that could look to sell, potentially trade some of their younger players and try to get draft picks and kind of move on for next year, but we will see. Skip over the Commanders-Raiders game. We're going to talk about this game. Falcons lose 30-0 to none other.
30.
To the frisky Carolina Panthers. An absolute thumping put on by the Panthers. Something I never thought I would see this season. The stat I saw was the first time the Panthers have beat a team by 30 since that year they went to the Super Bowl in 2015, which makes
I think
sense.
this is the first shutout since I think it was like 2021. Was this it?
Yeah, would make sense.
30-point shutout since like 2015 when Cam Newton was running the show.
Yeah, and yeah, Cam Newton obviously he had that weird like 4-game stint back in 21 again with the Panthers after he got cut by the Patriots or whatever. But that was nasty football. But yeah, Panthers win 30-0. Not really an offensive game, more just the Panthers defense being able to shut down Michael Penix and hold Bijan Robinson to only 72 yards. Any concern for the Falcons thus far through the season?
Yeah, their offensive coordinator, I think, is going to lose his job.
Yeah,
I think that's a pretty safe bet. I think they already announced that he's going to be moving from the press box, coach's box, whatever they call it. They're moving him down to the field. That's like step number one of you're losing your job. That is the equivalent of your friend selling his PS5. That's how you know he's broke. When a coordinator gets moved down to the field, that's how you know he's fired.
Oh,
like man, that. There is not a more surefire way to know that man is gone.
Yeah,
and rightfully so. Michael Penix, any momentum that man had going into this season, and with that strong Week 1 performance, has just been zapped completely.
It was bad when Kirk Cousins entered the game.
Yeah, we kind of just assumed that he was going to be a $40 million paperweight on that roster. There's a real chance he's going to see more significant playing time if Michael Penix continues to flounder like he has so far. And again, I'm not going to put it entirely on Michael Penix. That their whole offense as a whole just looks like you watch these games. They'll like Drake London and Kyle Pitts will start the game like 2 for 2, 3 for 3, like 30 yards. Then we'll get another target until like the fourth quarter.
No.
What are we doing? Why is Tyler Algier like out carrying Bijan half the time?
Hey,
no disrespect to Tyler Algier. Whatever his rookie season was alone.
He's my handicap in my fantasy league.
Tyler, his rookie season was elite before they drafted Bijan and completely eliminated his role in the offense, or should have. I guess whatever their offensive coordinator's name is, has only been his film only goes up to that season, I guess. And they just saw, he's really good. We're gonna give him the ball always.
Zach Robinson is the
Zach. That's what I thought it was, but I wasn't sure. Yeah, Zach Robinson, buddy. We thought Arthur Smith was a crime to offense.
Yeah.
Steelers haven't looked.
Still
like,
is.
He still is. Let's not get that twisted. He still.
We're not going to talk about the Steelers Patriots just because that was just kind of a
nasty game.
But it took the Steelers forcing 5 turnovers or 4 turnovers to win that game. So that tells you how pedestrian that offense is. Nasty. But yeah, if you had any stock in the Falcons, it's looking pretty rough right now. I know they lost that close one to Tampa Bay to start the year. They win last week in pretty convincing fashion against Minnesota, and then just get absolutely annihilated in this game.
It's because they cut Younghoe Koo, man.
True.
They had him on the bench week 2. Parker Romo went 5 for 5. They cut him
2 this game.
Went 0 for 2.
Yeah.
And now I think I saw today that he got signed to the Giants. I don't know if that's practice squad or like full roster, but I know Graham Gano was having a bit of a problem with a groin injury. Definitely would rather have Younghoe Koo kicking field goals than Jamie Gilligan.
True.
You'd rather have a kicker kicking field goals than a punter, even if you have questions about Younghoe's accuracy, really ever since that first year with the Falcons. Mm-hmm. But yeah, interesting. It'll be interesting to see how the Falcons turn this season around. I had them winning this division. Obviously, that doesn't look great right now, but
we're going to get into your other division pick in a second.
Yeah, I know we will.
All right. Houston, we have a problem.
We have a problem, and it is in the trenches.
Yeah.
Specifically, offensive line. Defensive line looks good.
unreal D-line. But yeah, Jacksonville ends up winning this one 17-10. Felt like this game was like a Big Ten game with just no offense at all. But yeah, I think the storyline is just the offensive line inability to give CJ Stroud a chance. And maybe there's been a little CJ Stroud regression. I mean, I don't want to blame it all on CJ, but he just doesn't look like the same CJ Stroud we saw from his rookie year. Am I wrong on that?
I wouldn't say you're wrong, but you can't make decisions in the pocket when you have 1,000. Oh, I have 3 defenders in my face.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen. There's a reason why, like, whenever there's a bad offensive line, whether it be college or pros in general, it is that same like AI generated like 5 Drewskis in Houston Texans jerseys. There's a reason why that was the original. This offensive line, man, generationally bad.
Yeah.
Like every team, I don't think there's, other than like the Eagles or like maybe the Bucks, I don't think there is a team that truly thinks they have a great offensive line. The Texans are like really one of the only real franchises that can say, yeah, no, our offensive line is actually like atrocious. We could sign 5 guys from the UFL and probably do about the same.
Yeah, well, they made that huge trade in the offseason, sending Laramie Tunsil, a longtime left tackle, to the Commanders. And Commanders I know Tunsil's had a couple pretty bad plays in Washington. I think it was week 1 that he didn't look too great, but Commanders are 2-1 right now. I mean, and Houston is 0-3 to start the year.
Yeah, you take a couple penalties to have an offensive lineman that can actually block somebody. Yeah. But maybe that's just my priorities being off. Who knows?
Yeah. I don't really have too much to comment on the Jags. Another nasty game. Just Trevor Lawrence didn't look really good. They were able to run the ball, get 2 touchdowns on the ground, but I'd like to see Travis Hunter get more involved in this offense. Only having 1 catch for 20 yards. I'd like to see him get 3 or 4 catches a game because he's such a great playmaker. Like when he has the ball in his hand, he can make so many people miss. But
that's Shane Waldron is their pass game coordinator. Any team that Shane Waldron has left, the year after they leave, they go on like they have at least one receiver that goes on a generational run. Cooper Kupp, when he left the Rams, had the Triple Crown year. The year he left the Seahawks, JSN broke out. He left the Bears last year. Rome Odunze looks like a whole different player. Minute he gets on the Jags,
Brian Thomas stinks.
Not a receiver that can catch the ball. Sure isn't Brian Thomas Jr.
No, Brian Thomas Jr. stinks right now. So any of you that took him high in fantasy, you blame Shane Waldron.
Oh. The fact that this guy has a job in the NFL is baffling.
Yeah. But real quick, Chargers win 23-20 over Denver. It took another last-second field goal. A lot of last-second scores to win the game in this week in the NFL, which made it kind of exciting. But Chargers look really good, really dominant. I think this is going to be the first year that they end up winning the division with the Chiefs' struggles and then the rest of the division just kind of being bad. I mean, Denver has not looked good. The Raiders have not looked good. And Kansas City has had a pretty bad start at 1-2. But are you confident in the Chargers making an actual playoff push this year?
I have confidence in them being a good regular season team. Can they do it in the postseason? History says no. Yeah. So until I can see something happen there, I will not put many eggs in that basket. Unfortunately, Najee is no longer protected by Steelers black magic.
Yeah.
What was it? Achilles for him?
Yep. He's done
out for the season. Good thing they drafted Amari and Hampton, I guess. Anybody that drafted him in fantasy has been hating their life until now, apparently.
True.
So that pick's finally going to turn out to be something.
Yeah.
But I think even without Najee, Amari and Hampton's going to be able to fill that role just fine. Justin Herbert is having a really good year. Quentin Johnson finally figured out how to catch the ball. Keenan Allen looks like he's
in his prime. It's unbelievable.
He's back.
Like, I thought he was old, washed up. Thought he should have retired last year after being with Chicago, and then
Shane
he's
Waldron.
just looked so damn good to start this year. I think he's. I don't know if he's her favorite target because I think Quentin Johnston's really making a run for that, which is crazy to say after what his rookie year was 2 years ago. But yeah, Chargers, they look really good. They look like they're probably going to run away with this AFC West, in my opinion. But other games, Seattle beat the Saints 44-13. You know what? Saints are on the ban list. This is the last time we'll talk about the Saints unless they actually do something. If they make a trade, they win a game, we'll talk about them, but this is the last time that
Who
they'll
do
be
they
brought
who
up
do
on the
they play
podcast,
this week?
which means they will win next week because
yeah.
I made that comment. Oh, nope, they're playing the Bills.
Mm,
They will not win next week.
they will probably not.
But
it'd be really funny if they did.
It would be really funny. It would hurt the power rankings though for all of us, which
they're already cooked.
True.
Chaos.
We got to talk about this one just for a little bit, and then we'll get into your Niners and Cardinals. Bears, Cowboys. Bears showed signs of good offense. Caleb Williams looked really good in this 31-14 victory over the Dallas Cowboys. Do you think this is more of the Bears finally finding their groove on offense, or is it just the Cowboys defense being this bad?
I don't know if it's really. I don't really know what to attribute this to. Did my internet die again? Or no? Okay, we're good. I
No.
had me worried there for a second, but I think this might have just been like, listen, Matt Eberflus was so bad last year. We got to show him just how bad of a coach he is, and there was just that emotional drive that offense showed. And I mean, they performed. They performed well. Roma Dunze looks really good. Luther Burden, I saw, had a touchdown. Just that whole offense just clicked. This is the offense that we were promised when they hung up the offseason champion banner.
Yeah.
This is what we were promised. Now, can we get this sustained? Who knows? Maybe this is just the chemistry finally hooking up. But yeah, if we can get some more of this, maybe all that hype might actually turn into something.
I think, too, when you get beat as bad as they did last week and you don't come out and respond and win as big as they did, I don't want to say that, like, players
you start facing some stinky allegations if you get beat that bad and then turn around and lose again.
And this is like the second or third year in a row with the Bears where they've, again, you said it, off-season champions. They make all the right moves, but just can't really do anything in the actual season. But I think this... Listen, I picked the Bears to make the playoffs, so I have some Bears stock, and I want them to do well. But this was certainly a good sign. But that Cowboys defense, they let Russell Wilson have 450 yards.
I don't want to act like their defense isn't horrible. It is bad, but I don't think they are 450 yards to an offense that has struggled this season bad.
Yeah. We're going to get into your game. I wish Brock was here. This was the Between the Hashes Bowl of Niners Cardinals. Conveniently enough, Brock's not here because Niners ended up winning this one 16-15 on a
Didn't this happen last year too? Like the Niners Cardinals game that I was actually on the show for was the one week he happened to like not be here.
Maybe. You know, my Chiefs lost that Super Bowl and I had to sit here and listen from both of you. I had to listen to the first 2 weeks. I was here. I took all the shots you guys threw. Brock Bierman, where you at? Just saying.
There's empty space here in the middle. We can fit you right here, man.
All jokes aside, Brock's out. I don't know where he's at, but I think he had a family
work or
thing.
something. I don't know.
Yeah, something like that. So I'm just messing around with that. But we do need to talk about this game. Eddie Pinheiro, walk-off field goal. I'll let you take the floor with this game because I know you watched this one very intently. But talk about your Niners winning.
Yes, I did. Yeah. How do you lose to a 49ers field goal in 2020? Post Robbie Gould, how do you lose to a 49ers field goal, man? That is something else. Yeah, I mean, defense absolutely carried this game. Anytime that you can score 18 points and win in the NFL.
16.
16 points. 60 to strengthens my point even more.
Yes.
If you can score that few amount of points and win, especially with an offense that, you're still missing Brock Purdy, you're missing Jawan Jennings was out, you're missing as many players as you were, but this is Kyle Shanahan we're talking about, man. I was promised an offensive guru genius that could win with absolutely. This guy could win with JV players at his disposal, is what I was told. And somehow had a 1-point win against the team that we're not going to talk about, and scored 16 points with a walk-off field goal. So I don't know what's happening there. Maybe it turns out Brock Purdy actually just is good. I don't know. Just an idea. Maybe the offense would look better with their starting quarterback that we actually paid. But
you don't think Mac Jones is doing enough? I think he's undefeated as a starter.
He's doing enough. He's doing enough to win. He's not doing enough to win the starting job. He's doing enough to beat.
With that, yeah.
He's doing enough to get the job done with Robert Saleh at the helm. Again,
Saleh.
Add him to the list of goes to East Rutherford, New Jersey, comes back, and turns out actually isn't bad. Yeah. D. Winters has been stellar, really. We were worried that much about filling that Dre Greenlaw spot with him going to Denver in the offseason. Hasn't played a game, just got put on IR. Obviously, hoping for the best for him. Was one of my favorite Niners when he was here. But D. Winters has done a fantastic job of filling that role. Corners had some off and on moments, as they always have, it feels like, but did enough to win. That one Marvin Harrison drop where there wasn't anybody within 5 yards of him, and it just smacked him on the chest.
Don't tell me about it. I have a lot of Marvin Harrison Jr. stock in fantasy land and in real life. So
yeah, not great if you're a Marvin Harrison Jr. stockholder, but fantastic if you're a hate watcher.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyways, like I said earlier, it wasn't exactly a pretty win, but at the end of the day, a win is a win, and I can't be mad at it.
Yeah. They looked really good, and you mentioned it, just the Cardinals not being able to get their former top 5 pick really that involved in the offense. Marv just looks off. He's dropping wide open passes. He had that one where he got lucky that they called DPI that he dropped in the end zone, which that could have swung the momentum of the game. I don't want to press the panic button.
The Cardinals offensive coordinator is another one of those that I would not be answering your phone on Black Monday if I were you, because I don't think he's going to keep his job for much longer.
Yeah, I don't even know who is the Cardinals OC. I wish we had Brock here because I'm sure he knows, but
he probably knows. Yeah, they again with the injuries. James Conner is out for the season. If you had Trey Benson stock, that's good for you, I guess. But
Petzing.
That sounds right. Yeah. But yeah, obviously wishing for the best for James Conner with how much he's had to go through to get to this point in his career. This sucks to have a season-ending injury like that. Obviously, prayers up for you, man. But next man up, Trey Benson is a guy that Cardinals paid a pretty premium draft pick on. Obviously, have a lot of faith in him to be able to get the job done. We'll see what happens there. I think NFC West, every other than the Niners being 3-0, every other team in that division is 2-1.
Yep.
So maybe we're back. Who knows?
Yeah. We do have to mention, we have to talk about Niners, and we got to talk about Bosa being officially ruled out for the rest of the year with a torn ACL. It's just another year with the Niners and injury problems. Last year was McCaffrey and Purdy for a little bit. This team, I don't know what is over them or who the athletic trainer is, but
I can get you a name. Hold on.
Tell them to leave. It just feels like they've had the same injury bug.
We got a new guy 2 years ago. This has been a problem for a lot longer than 2 years in the making.
Is it a Kyle Shanahan thing?
Who knows, man? Maybe we just have the worst luck of all time and just keep drafting players made of peanut brittle. Who knows?
Could be the case.
But
yeah.
Yeah. I think his name Dustin Perry. Dustin Perry is his name. That is the like VP of Health and Safety or something like that. He's gonna have a lot of questions to answer, man.
Yeah.
Are really any of them his fault? Who knows?
No.
But somebody's got to answer these questions, and I doubt it's going to be Kyle Shanahan.
Yeah. 2 more games to cover, and then we're going to give our player of the week and not mock draft, and our power rankings.
Sorry, slow down there, buddy. I know you're 1 and 2, but
hey, whoa. We're getting ready to talk about the 1 and 2 team that pulled off their first win of the year in disgusting fashion. I hated watching this game so much.
in
Chiefs
football hell.
Yeah. Chiefs beat the Giants 22-9. Also just a gross score. 22 points? Nasty. And then 9 points. What did they get? They missed the PAT. Yeah. Made a field goal, but Chiefs offense it looks so rough. The only bright spot on this offense is Tyquan Thornton resurrect. Like, I don't know what's gotten into Tyquan Thornton. He went from being cut from the Patriots last year to is Mahomes' favorite target now. I think that's pretty safe to say.
Until Rashee Rice gets back, yeah, I think that's a pretty safe bet to make. Obviously, you have Travis Kelce, but he doesn't look the same. No. They don't, other than Tyquan Thornton, they don't have the outside weapons to really make that middle of the field game work like it used to.
No.
Just all around, things are not right in Kansas City, and they're going to need to get fixed quick if they want to get back to the championship pedigree that we've kind of come to know as far as 2020's Chiefs go.
Yeah, I think the good news with the one silver lining that you can look with Kansas City is I think there's only 7 other teams in the AFC that have a winning record, is the stat I saw. So, it's gross. But it means that, 6 teams in the AFC have a winning record. So
a 1 and 2, if you were to make a playoff bracket, you could easily put the Chiefs in the playoffs at the 7 seed.
Yeah, they're tied. Listen to the teams they're tied with right now. They're tied with the Ravens, who we're going to get to in a second, the Raiders, the Broncos, the Patriots, and the Browns. So,
yeah,
nasty.
That's your that's your competition, man.
Yeah, but this was finally a relief that the defense finally stepped up, because they've been getting gashed in the last 2 weeks. That pass defense made Russell Wilson look so bad enough where he is now benched, and Jackson Dart is now going to be the Giants quarterback for at least this week. But I'm still not worried, because I know that Chiefs are getting. I think Worthy's going to play this weekend against the Ravens, is the assumption.
Yeah.
And then Rice has got 3 more games, and then he's coming back. I would assume that Kansas City is going to make an acquisition for a running back at the deadline. If they don't, pack the bags. They're just not going to do much in the playoffs with how bad this run game is. But, yeah, Chiefs finally get on the board and get their first win of the year. In kind of disgusting fashion, but hey, a win's a win in the NFL. You can't complain too much. Last game that we're going to talk about in week 3, Lions end up beating the Ravens, going on the road 38-30. The main story for this one is just how dominant the Lions run game was, and how they were just able to gash the Ravens defense over and over and over. I mean, Montgomery had 12 carries and had 151 yards, if that tells you anything. Gibbs had 22 carries for 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. They only threw the ball 28 times, which
they need to.
They didn't need to really, they didn't throw the ball that often. I think a big storyline that we need to discuss before we give the Lions their praise is another team that's a 1 and 2 team that just has bad vibes around it right now in the Baltimore Ravens. Derrick Henry has the yips or something. He's got a fumble issue for the first time in his career, fumbled in 3 straight games, fumbled in that Bills game, which probably ended up costing them in week 1, fumbled last week against the Browns. And then when the Ravens are trying to make a last drive, they're only down 7, first play of, I think it dropped 4 minutes ago. Ball gets punched out by Aiden Hutchinson. lines jump on it, and that's pretty much game at that point. Is it time to press the panic button with the Ravens?
I wouldn't, just because I fumble problems are one of those things that's like this. It kind of just happens with certain players. This is the first time Derrick Henry's had to deal with this, but the fumbles are a solvable problem. Like it's not like he's running into the back of his offensive lineman and just dropping the ball. Like a lot of these are like really good defensive like punch outs. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't be super concerned. I think it's just really bad timing of really good defense. Derrick Henry is still like probably a top 3 running back of all time at this point, is the case that he's making. I wouldn't be super concerned. Like, and your 2 losses are to 2 really good teams in close games. Maybe that this game against the Lions ended up being a little bit closer than it probably should have been with a garbage time touchdown, but I wouldn't be super concerned if I'm a Ravens fan. Again, yeah, you got gashed on that run defense, but you're not going to be without Nnamdi Madubuike every week. And it was pretty clear that all they had to do was just run up the middle at their backup defensive tackle. And that's just not going to happen when he's in the game. Like, Ja Gibbs and Dave Montgomery are really impressive running backs, but they're not going to put up like 250, 300 yards and 3 rushing touchdowns against a fully healthy Ravens defense. They're just not.
No, and I think what we've come accustomed to seeing with the Ravens is their dominant run game. Other than week 1, we haven't really seen that. Derek only had 50 yards in the ground. Lamar had 35. Lamar, I think the big storyline with the Ravens is how bad their O-line played, giving up 7 sacks. And I think the stat I saw was the O-line gave up 30 pressures, which...
Yeah, there's 7 sacks is bad, obviously. A lot of that can be attributed to the offensive line just playing like absolute doo-doo.
Mm-hmm.
But if you watch
some of that can be on Lamar too. Lamar always tries to extend a play. Lamar will never throw the ball away. 1 or 2 of those are on him, but the majority of those are on that offensive line.
Like I feel like a lot of the time I was watching this game, and yeah, they had that graphic pop up where he has the highest passer rating of all time just because he will never throw the ball away. So he doesn't have those incompletions on his record. Mm-hmm. But I mean, if 3 of those are throwaways, this is an entirely different game just based on the field positioning of it.
There were so many drive killers that the Ravens had. They had the ball on the 1-yard line. Derrick Henry could not get the touchdown. I think 3 times or 2 times they gave him the ball.
3 times. They gave it to him 3 times, and then they tried to go for that like weird little play action that got absolutely clamped.
Yeah.
Yeah. This Lions looked really good.
They looked dominant. This is not the same team as the week 1 team that got shelled by Green Bay.
No, definitely not.
It's crazy that we're going to potentially either see a Ravens team at 1-3 or a Chiefs team at 1-3 after next week's games. Kind of crazy to think.
We're 3 weeks into the season, and this is already a wild season.
Yeah. We are now going to do our... Do you want to do power rankings first or our players of the week first?
Let's do power rankings first.
All right. We are going to do our week 3 power rankings. Oops. I just had them up there. There we go. Braden, we're going to start with your power rankings. Just give us a quick rundown of why you have the teams where they're at.
Yeah. Philly, I have Philly jumping Buffalo. If you watched that game on Thursday, that game was a lot more uncomfortable if you're a Bills fan than it really should have been. I mean, Miami, we're talking about a team that is probably going to be picking in the top 5, top 10 if things go the way they're going right now for the rest of the season. If you're keeping it close against them, that's just not a great sign. And Philly, I mean, their one thing was like, we don't know if they can actually throw the ball because Jalen Hurts just like refused to. And when it came time to be like, all right, Jalen, you need to throw the ball now. We're losing 20-7. They came back and won against a really good Rams team. So gotta finally give them their props. I don't want to, but I will. And then Buffalo at number 2. Scary against the Dolphins, but still a really good team. Still insane rushing game. James Cook is having a really good first 3 weeks of the season. Number 3, have the Chargers. We talked about this a bit, but this looks like a scary team right now. Quentin Johnson knows how to catch the football. Things are looking scary if you're a fan of an AFC West team. And I think that's all I really have to say. They made Quentin Johnson able to catch the ball. Look out. Number 4, if you were to tell me at the preseason that by week 3, I would have the Indianapolis Colts in my top 5, and not even at number 5, at number 4, I would assume that Anthony Richardson had become Jesus himself. And somehow it's not even Anthony Richardson. It's Daniel Jones going absolutely off. Jonathan Taylor is proven why he's really been one of the more underrated running backs of this decade so far. Just been killing it. Their offensive line looks good. The defense is doing enough to win games. We've drilled it home enough. You punted the ball one time in 3 weeks. I don't care what kind of competition you're playing against. That is impressive enough. I got to tip my cap. Number 5 was an interesting one. I debated a lot of teams with this one. I debated keeping the Packers on there, but you lost to the Browns, so I just can't. That is simply an unforgivable sin. Debated the 49ers, but with the amount of injuries they have, I just don't feel confident saying they are a top 5 team right now, even if they are 3-0. Just because I haven't been super impressed with how they've been winning games. It just kind of feels like they're stumbling their way into wins right now, which, I mean, you got to win the games you play. So I'll give them my props, but not enough to put them in the top 5. And then Detroit was another team I considered, but this doesn't look like the same team that got shelled in week 1, like we said, but I have to pause a little bit just because you can't fully throw that result away. It still happened, and you still have to wonder, like, are we going to keep seeing the Lions we've seen the last 2 weeks, or is that week 1 Lions going to come back? So next week, I could very easily put the Lions in the top 5, but right now I will put the Bucs. Kind of along the same lines as the Niners in a way, just without as much of the injuries. Obviously, they do still have their problems. Godwin's been out all season. Mike Evans is now out. Tristan Wirfs has been out for a while. But Baker Mayfield, man, we talked about this earlier, but he is putting on a heck of a performance this season. Just doing what it takes to get the job done, but with aura, I guess, is the best way to put it. I said Mac Jones was doing enough to get the job done, but there are levels. There are simply levels to it, and Baker is on another level right now. If he can do what he's been doing all like the first 3 weeks for the rest of the season, I mean, we're talking about like he might win MVP at this rate. It's incredible what he's doing.
Really like your power rankings. Brock is not here, obviously, so I'm just gonna run through his really quick. For our audio listeners out there, we have Buffalo. He has Buffalo at number 1, Philly at number 2, moving up from their 3rd place ranking last week. He has the Indianapolis Colts at number 3, moving from their 5th place ranking. He has 2 new teams in the top 5, rounding it out with Tampa Bay at 4 and the Chargers at 5. Yeah, those are Brock's power rankings for this week. Here are my power rankings for this week. We have very similar power rankings, me and Braden. I have the Eagles moving up to number 1. The way they came back and won that game, as much as I hate to say it, they deserve to move to 1. Just level of competition matters. I don't feel like outside of Baltimore, Buffalo's really played anyone. They played the Jets and they played the Dolphins. So they take a small ding for that. But they still stay at number 2. Chargers, are my third place team. Chargers have looked really good. Herbert, I don't want to, again, if we would do an MVP ladder this early, he would definitely be in the top 5 with how good he's looked thus far. So I have the Chargers at 3. Tampa Bay, I had them sneaking in at 5 last week, and now I have them moving up to 4 this week. Uh, Tampa Bay, you mentioned it. You said pretty much everything that needs to be said about Tampa Bay. Baker's looked unbelievable, and despite all the injuries they've had, they still looked really, really good. Granted, these close games are going to catch up to him eventually, i.e. Kansas City last year. You can't win every one-score game. Eventually that streak will stop, but that streak hasn't stopped yet, so I'm going to keep them in my top 5. And I'm the only one that still has Green Bay in their top 5. It was really hard to keep them in this 5th spot. But I'm super confident in Green Bay being able to bounce back. You almost kind of need a game like this to kind of like jumpstart your season. Philly had one a couple years ago, or maybe it was last year, where they lost the Jets, and it was like, whoa, why did Philly lose the Jets? And I think either that was 2022 and they went to the Super Bowl, or it was last year and they won the Super Bowl. So sometimes you kind of need a dud game to like really start your season and really start winning games down the stretch. But yeah, I thought about Detroit. I had the Rams in mind last week, but I was getting ready to put the Rams number 1 had they won that game, but obviously they didn't. With the Colts, I'm going to be honest with that one. I'm going to be late on that team, if anything. I have my reservations about that team. They're kind of like the Vikings from last year. I was late on the Vikings. I didn't really see it. And granted, Vikings went 14-3 last year, made the playoffs. But those last few games, the Vikings, Sam Darnold turned into pumpkin mode. Not saying Daniel Jones will turn into pumpkin mode, but not saying it won't happen. So those are our power rankings for this week, for recapping week 3. Now we're getting into our player of the week honors for week 3. Braden, you want to start us off with yours?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I don't really pay a lot of attention to defensive players. Like I notice like the stars when they make their big plays. I notice like the big interceptions, big sacks or whatever. To get my attention enough to give you player of the entire week, you have to go absolutely off. And that is what Isaiah Rodgers did this week. 2 PBUs, 2 pass breakups, 2 pick sixes, and a 99.9 PFF defensive grade, the highest of all time. Say what you will about PFF. I don't know if you necessarily
or defensive grade of all time, for that matter.
Yeah, it's as high as you can possibly get.
Yeah,
like that's insane. What he was able to do. I think that was it the first multi-defensive touchdown game in Minnesota Vikings history. I think
so, yeah.
For a single player, just absolute madness from a guy that like. I think last year, if you were to say like, "Hey, who's Isaiah Rodgers?" I would have been like, "Hey, isn't that the guy that got busted for gambling for a season?"
He was.
But this is a guy that, I mean, this is the kind of game that will put you on the map. And I mean, what a way to capitalize on your opportunities.
Yeah, he looked really good this week. Kind of keeping the same thing. Brock's player of the week, I guess, is a unit of the week. Is he took the entire Vikings defense, which I was a little skeptical to allow him to do that, but with how well they played, 4 sacks, 5 turnovers forced, only allowed 170 yards, and make Jake Browning look like a JV quarterback. I thought it was worthy of player of the week for Brock. Yeah, you mentioned it. Everything was Isaiah Rodgers, but they were also able to get other interceptions off of Jake Browning. They had a couple fumbles. They just looked super dominant with that Brian Flores defense, and Cincinnati had no answers for how dominant Minnesota was. But here is my player of the week. I had Caleb Williams. I didn't. Who knows how many more times Caleb Williams is going to be on this list? But I figured I'd give him this nod. Almost 300 passing yards, 298 to be exact, 4 passing touchdowns, and a 67.9% completion percentage. Just looked really dominant. Was able to throw the ball at will. The running game does scare me. going forward. Doesn't really seem like they can run the ball as effectively. And that O-line still has concerns for me. I don't know how well I actually trust them, or if this was just the Cowboys defense again being that bad. But yeah, for my week 3 player of the week, I have Caleb Williams. But yeah, that is our kind of episode for this week. We're gonna do something really quick for recapping or looking forward to week 4. We have our game of the weeks that we're gonna start doing, where we're gonna be comparing records and basically having picks for each game of the 3 main games of the week. Braden, we're gonna start with you. The first game on the slate, not in like time order, but just the first one listed. Ravens Chiefs. Who do you have winning Ravens Chiefs?
Ravens Chiefs. The battle of teams that had way higher expectations going into this season than what it has turned out to be. I have a lot more worries about the Chiefs right now than I do about the Ravens, even though they both are sitting in pretty much the same situation. I do still have the Ravens taking this one. Going to be honest, I didn't write down the scores
I have
for
these
these.
for you.
I just kind of told you scores off the top of my head before we started recording here. So my numbers might not be exactly for what the graphics
21.
will be. 28-21. Yeah.
But yeah, I am going against you on that one. I have Kansas City winning this one 27-21. And Brock, who is not here, has the Ravens winning that game. So you both are on the Ravens winning. I'm on the Chiefs side. I'm obviously going to be biased. I'm always going to
Shocker.
Yeah, I can't even take the
Chiefs
take
fan
the hat off.
goes for the Chiefs to win the game.
Yeah, I'm going to pick them every week, dude. I think they can win every game. Obviously, that's not the case.
They're going 15-2, man. Don't you even worry about it.
If they end up going 15-2 and winning 15 straight games, good Lord, I will be unbearable. You better hope that doesn't happen.
If they go 15-2, I will buy a Chiefs jersey and wear it through the entirety of the playoffs. You have my word. You can. If they go 15-2, I will buy you can put it on the record right now. If the Chiefs finish this season 15-2, I will buy a Patrick Mahomes jersey, and the second it comes in, I will wear it through the rest of the playoffs on this show.
I like it. Next game on the slate is Colts Rams. Honestly, if you would have told me that this would have been on the slate of games that we'd be talking about for games of the week before the season, didn't think that this would be happening at all. But who do you have winning Colts versus Rams?
Colts have been on a tear so far this season. I've gone on and on about them this podcast, but I have them kind of continuing the role. Rams did almost beat my number one team, the Eagles, but I think the Colts are going to take care of business.
Yeah, your exact score, you have the Colts winning 27-24.
Mm-hmm.
In this game, I do have the Rams pulling this one out at 24-17. Colts look really good, but this Cinderella run's gotta end eventually. Maybe I'm just a hater of the Colts. Maybe I'm just a hater of all Indianapolis sports. Maybe just my Pacers hate is just rubbing off on this. But I'm going to pick the Rams to win this one, 24-17. And Brock has the Rams winning this one as well. Last game on the slate, Eagles-Buccaneers. This one should be a really, really good game. But, Braden, who do you have winning this one?
Yeah, like you said, this is going to be a great game. Battle of, Bucks have been kind of winning ugly so far this season, and the Eagles have been kind of along the same path, doing just enough to win these games. I think I'm going to go with a bit of an upset here. I think the Bucks are going to do, again, just enough to win. They signed Desmond Watson, the deep freeze, to their practice squad. I think the only reason why you do that this week is to put him up against the tush push. He is the tush push stopper. If anybody can stop them, even if they go offsides or whatever, it is going to be a 440-pound rock
unit
of a defensive lineman.
Absolute unit of a human. Yeah. This one I toss back and forth with so much. I hate the Eagles so much, but I think they're going to win this game. I hate it so much. it takes every fiber in my body not to pick the Bucks, but my mind is like, dude, Philly, the way they responded in that second half, they just look so good passing the ball, and if they can continue that, good lord, they might repeat this year. But I have the Eagles winning 23-20. Your score prediction earlier, which I didn't say, you have the Bucks winning 21-17. I didn't say that earlier, but yeah. And Barack, who obviously isn't here, is also going Eagles. So there's not a clean sweep for any of us right now. Like, no, we don't have.
I mean, these are all going to be
us.
really good, really close games. I think either of these,
Yeah.
any of these games could go either way, and I would not be surprised in the slightest.
Right. We have a really good slate of games coming up. We even have games that we didn't even make the ballot that we were thinking of. Vikings Steelers. This one is in Dublin, so another overseas game. This game is going to be at 8:30 in the morning. So if you want to watch this one, be sure to wake up before that. Who else? Panthers, Patriots. That one wasn't gonna make it, but I had to, shout out the Panthers, not the Patriots. Silly me. Jags, Niners, which one I really thought about, but I just think the Niners are gonna beat the living crap out of the Jags.
The Mac Jones Revenge Bowl question mark?
Yeah. That I just didn't think it was worth mentioning that one. Packers, Cowboys. The Cowboys just look so bad. It's just hard to.
Micah Parsons might get 7 sacks on his own this week.
Yeah. And then I guess the only other one I was kind of considering to put in this for this week, Bengals, Broncos, but no Joe Burrow. It's really hard to watch the Bengals right now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, no Joe Burrow. Jake Browning versus the Denver. Really, of all the, there's obviously never a good time for an injury, especially to one as important as Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Of all of these schedules that Jake Browning could add to start this season against, Vikings defense, Broncos defense, and then I think they're playing another really good defense in week 5. I mean, this guy was set up for failure from the start.
The Lions.
With that offensive line, Jake Browning's going to die, man. They might break the record for sacks allowed. David Carr might actually lose his spot on the throne.
Yeah. Yeah. Another game, I guess. Seahawks Cardinals. Brock's Cardinals playing on Thursday Night Football. Who would have thought that these teams would both have a winning record at this point this season? But it won't be a terrible game on Thursday. But all right. Do you have anything else to add on this episode before we kind of wrap this one up?
I do not. I am proud of my computer for making it through an entire hour and 13 minutes. Take 2 for the win.
Yeah. Yeah. Another great episode for the boys. Who does Iowa State got this week? Is it Arizona?
Playing Arizona. It is a whiteout.
Is that a night game?
I believe so, yeah.
Yeah. I know this isn't a college football podcast, but a lot of college football news happened the last couple of days, and I just thought it was funny. Mike Gundy getting fired after losing the Tulsa at home. But
if I think there's never been a man more fired than Mike Gundy was after that game.
Yeah.
That was bad. I think their first loss to Tulsa in Stillwater since the 1960s.
Yeah, that was super funny. For any college football fans out there are a bunch of phenomenal games this weekend. So be sure to tune in to some college football. I think Oregon, Penn State play this weekend. Bama and Georgia play this weekend. LSU, Ole Miss play this weekend.
Some extracurricular storylines for that game as well, but we don't need to get too much into that.
No, that's not for this episode, but USC, Illinois, just a great weekend for football. So if you are listening to this and you have a fall wedding this weekend, I apologize. I flat out apologize.
Yeah, if you got invited to a wedding this weekend,
tell them no.
Don't go.
Yeah.
Just don't go.
Just
send him $100 card. Sorry, man, couldn't make it.
Sorry,
I couldn't make it to the best day of your life. I was having the best day of mine.
I was watching UMass in Missouri.
I was watching Iowa versus Indiana. That's what I was doing.
I will be watching Iowa versus Indiana. But yeah, other than that, if there's nothing else to talk about, we are going to wrap this episode up. Another great episode. But for Braden Bankin, I'm Dawson Livingston. We are signing off on the Between the Hashes podcast.